Okay, so it has been just over 2 weeks since I put out that last video, mainly because I became very disillusioned with the YouTube. And in general, it can happen. It can even happen to the strongest of them. Because did eventually get round to putting out 3 videos per week for you. And we're talking about full edited videos that were taking anything from 3 to 5 hours each out of my day. I do actually work 4 hours 5 days a week. And I try to play my game, and I've got a girlfriend that I have to please as well. So, it was taking a big part of my day. Okay, so if I'm doing 3 videos per week, let's just half that. That's 1 4 2 4 8. That's 12 hours. Okay, a week put into videos. Now, I'm showing you my channel growth, what we got there from 2017, because my point here is I've mentioned this just in a couple of comments in the comment section, but not in an actual video. How is it possible that I've ended up at 76,000 subscribers? Let's say from 2021, you just saw how much it's grown. And I've got no doubt that many of you have watched most of my videos more than once, right? Maybe even some of them 3 times, right? So how are my videos racing to 1,000 views generally within 1 hour to then average out in between 4,200 and 5,400 after about 5 days? And then they just do not move from that figure at all. There's many reasons for this. You know that I'm monetized. I can tell you that I've been getting about 110,000 views. Anyone that's monetized will know that's only about 120, 130 pounds per month before YouTube takes their part. Now, some of you are thinking, so you're doing this for the money. Of course, money's nice, right? But if I'm not doing it to at least get something out of it, then I can tell you, then I'm just going to just throw some images together and speak on them. It's fine by me. I can revert back to doing what I was doing before. The video's about the information, and I think I might actually need to get back to just doing that instead of just editing endlessly and trying to turn it into something visually right as well, something that you can sit and watch. And the 2 prior videos on the Ukraine topic I mentioned how many terror attacks that Zelensky and his gang had brought upon Russia, and Russia's response is always swift, if not immediate. Now, I bet he's wishing that he wouldn't have started using the cluster bombs that the United States sent him, because they are nothing like the ones that he is now dropping on his forces. They are terrified of something like that. These are actual bombs dropped from a plane. These things are huge, and they're freshly made, and they all work. That was it. He said that he was going to have to, this is what they've been putting out in the West, that they were going to have to now enlist teenagers, basically, right? The third professional army had been destroyed, so now he was going to have to enlist teenagers. No, sorry, that's been done already. They've all been killed. Right? We can't just suddenly go forward saying that we're going to enlist people from the age of 17 to 70 and now women, and expect to do what your 3 previous armies couldn't do with all the Western weapons that's been supplied to you in full. By the way, you can complain that you've not had what you asked for, because you have, right? Just to mention something on what I've got on the screen, I'm pretty sure that you've all seen something on it with the downfall of Hollywood, Disney, and that lot. Everyone's putting out videos on it now. I do still watch Matt of Quantum of Conscience, and I think he's correct in what he's saying to some extent. Is this being done on purpose? Personally, yeah, but I think it's more leaning on the fact that, the West is drag kicking and screaming into the multipolar world, and they're trying to cater to everybody, is the message. Let me explain that better. Every country, every peoples, every different race, they are trying to come across as not being racist, as trying to push their one world system because they can see it crumbling around them. It's going to be China and Russia, India, Iran. These are the places where everybody's going to want to do business with. For one thing, these are very spiritual countries.
Our little girl's growing up so fast. And things couldn't be better.
What is that?
And if you're still hanging around on this video, because I'm still into 40k Warhammer, the original version, not the fantasy one. Anyway, I just found this funny when I saw this because, so you've got the four gods of chaos here, and Zeech on the far left, I would say is the liberal mainstream media, and how they control the narrative with magic. And then second from the left is Nurgle, and that would be the World Economic Forum, your Faucis and your Bill Gates. Then you've got Khorne, the blood god, and that would be the military industrial complex. And then Slaanesh on the far right, that would be Hollywood. Anyway, to finish this video, let's just listen to this full, because when I was growing up, I had a lot of respect for this guy. I had a lot of respect for the government, in fact. Even the police to some extent. All that's completely gone. Because this is just so ridiculous, because the things that we've been pointing out, people like me, since the start of this war, these people are either only just catching on to or being allowed to speak on this. Yeah, they're being handed a piece of paper to read off, but the way these people go about it, you can just tell that, I mean, are they even human? Are they just robots and they just program them to think a certain way because these people are morons?
Russian forces have increased their attacks in Donetsk using tanks, artillery and 40 airstrikes. Russia seems to have a growing advantage in military hardware thanks to help from North Korea and China and Iran.
By the way, this report was called "Is Russia Beginning to Win the War?" No, they're not beginning to win the war. They've won the war as soon as this thing started, as soon as Kiev and the Boris Johnson and all them people decided to go to war and fund this as a proxy, right? Ukraine's never been winning this war. They've lost basically 1 million men. I think Russia's up to almost 200,000. But who's been pushing the most here? And I'm sick to death. It's like when they use the term right wing, because they think that people are still programmed to think as right wingers something to do with Hitler. Well, it's not anymore. It's just the side of common sense and values, okay, principles. But then it comes out and drops the supplied weapons from North Korea, Iran, China, as if that's a bad thing, something that Russia needs. No, Russia's already supplying more. They're creating more. They've got more industrial might than the entire West combined, right? It's the West that's been supplying weapons to Ukraine. So as soon as Russia might be getting some help, something bad, something right wing, they make me sick, these people.
Jens Stoltenberg, NATO's Secretary General, today warned that it's amassed a large stockpile of missiles ahead of winter and is trying to hit Kiev's power grid and energy system to leave Ukraine in the dark and cold. Ukraine, on the other hand, is struggling to get the ammunition it desperately needs, and there's a perception that its Western backers, that's us, are now just waiting to see whether Donald Trump wins the US presidential election in a year's time and does a deal with Putin.
Donald Trump. Russia, Russia, Russia. Putin. This is ridiculous.